Hello and welcome to Rando Tech Info. So today we're talking about Huawei's latest flagship, the P40. There's three versions of this phone, the P40, the P40 Pro, and the P40 Pro Plus. These phones pack pretty much what you'd expect from a 2020 flagship. A top-of-the-line processor, gorgeous screen with a 90 hertz, high refresh rate, 6.8 IP rating, decent battery size, all of it. So I'm not going to spend too much time going over the specs and the features. Like I said, they're what you'd expect from a modern day flag. Three things that are worth mentioning though are, first off, you can't get any Google apps for this thing. You can't use the Google Play Store with it. The China-US trade war is still in full effect as of right now, so no Google. If you are somebody who's comfortable with sideloading or you're comfortable with rooting your device, you can probably get around this. There are a lot of videos on the tubes telling you how to do this, but just be aware, if you're not comfortable with those things, you're stuck with Huawei's own app store. One of the cool things about this phone that I will say is that it has the 3D face unlock, so it's got the really secure face unlock that you'd find on, say, like an iPhone or a Pixel device, but it also has an optical fingerprint reader. So that's kind of different, the fact that it offers both. A lot of people have strong preferences over face unlock or fingerprint reader, one over the other. So the fact that finally we have a flagship offering both options is really cool. Hopefully other phones will copy that moving forward. And finally, the last big thing you need to know about this phone is the camera. Early, I don't want to say reviews because people just got their hand on the thing, but early first impressions of this camera is that it's absolutely amazing. Aaron on Mr. Who's the Boss, who's kind of my go-to source for camera use, has already posted a couple videos about the camera. He says it's the best camera he's ever used on a smartphone, so that's pretty high praise. Granted, it's early. He'll be doing more in-depth reviews down the line, but for him to just say that right out the gate, even with only a day or two of use, is still pretty impressive and speaks highly of the phone. I will actually include a link or two to his videos down below so you can go out there and watch those videos yourself and kind of get a first impression of the camera. So what you came here today for was to find out is, will the phone work in the US? Is it a viable option to use on US carriers? So the answer to that question is kind of familiar if you are a fan of the channel and have seen these videos before. This phone kind of follows a line of phones that have similar connectivity on our carriers. So first off, Sprint, Verizon, no go. Won't work on 3G, does not have their primary 4G bands. So if you're on either one of those carriers, this phone is really not a viable option. Yes, the 5G will work on Sprint, but just the 5G, so probably not a realistic or a practical option for you to use there. Just on a side note, with 5G, Sprint is the only network the 5G will work on. So even though the phone will work on T-Mobile and AT&T, it will not work on their 5G. So just be aware of that. But the phone will work on AT&T Mobile's 3G and their primary 4G bands. It doesn't use all their 4G bands, but it uses the most important ones. So while your reception may not be great, especially if you're in a less densely populated area, for most people in most parts of the country, if you're on AT&T or T-Mobile, the phones should work just fine. As far as whether or not this is a practical option for users, even if you are on AT&T at T-Mobile, I think, just in my opinion, not so much. These phones are not cheap. They range based on what model you get between $900 and $1,500. Those are S20 price points. I mean, that's a lot of money you're paying top dollar for these phones, and you're not getting the best network compatibility that you could. To me, if you're going to spend that kind of money on a 5G phone, the 5G should work. I've talked about this on previous videos. If you're going to spend that kind of money anyway, you may as well get a Samsung S20. You may as well get the Ultra or the Plus or whatever. Are the cameras as good? Maybe not quite, but they're going to be close. They're at least going to be competitive, and you're going to get a lot better network reception and network quality out of those devices. So that's the way I would go personally. But hey, if you're a Huawei person who really want that camera, then hey, go for it. As always, just a quick reminder though, once you ship the phone overseas, get it brought over here, because it will not be sold here. Once you get it brought over here, your warranty's done. It's gone, it's null, it's void. So just be aware of that. So Anyway, that's all the information I have today about the P40. If you have any other questions about the P40 or another device and you want to know if it'll work in your part of the world, please drop me a line down in the comments and let me know. I hope you found this video useful. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Rando Tech Info signing out.